chat, but here we are. Oh my gosh. Hey. Hope you're all doing well. Hey, sorry. I had somebody stop by the house, and I obviously I'm pretty late, but we're here. We're here. I know I told you guys not to count on me if it was after 11 o'clock, but you can count on me. All right. Let's see. Let me get us over to YouTube. We'll turn this over to subscribers only because you know what happened last week. Yes or no questions. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hey, Gunner. Who's your good puppy? You want to chill with me? You like butt rib? Yeah. I got a dog. There's a dog down here in case you guys are like, what is she talking about? I know. He's all about it. All right. Hang on. It's taking a second. When do I sleep? It's a very good question. I don't know. Show us. Shelby just took him in the other room. You want to see the doggy? He's been on a few of my lives. Let's see if he comes back. She's getting him some water because he's panting. All right, customization, subscribers. 2 years. All right, that'll keep him out. It's a little wild last time. You want to see Gunner? Come here, bud. Come here, Gunner. Agility course. There you go. That was Gunner.
Look, say hi.
Say hi. Come here. Oh.
Come up.
Say hi, everybody. I'm Gunner. I'm a good boy.
Don't eat the claw.
We just collect random animals around here. We have kittens. We have dogs.
Okay.
We're thinking of maybe starting a side business of maybe animal rescuing. I'm just kidding. Yeah, bats, cats, dogs. No, that's Shelby's. That's Shelby's dog. That's Gunner. I tried bringing Hank here one time, and he just had an absolute meltdown. He's very stressed out, and I decided we wouldn't do that ever again. I don't know what it was. He didn't like it here. He just kept panting and going back and forth and pacing and going to the door. So I was like, that's not it. All right, let me get us to our notes. Gosh, I look so pale. I tried putting makeup over top of my poison ivy, and it was a disaster. Now I have poison ivy on my face. I got it on my sunglasses, and then I put my sunglasses on my face, and so it's all right here because it was on my sunglasses. Yeah, it was on my sunglasses. I don't know how I managed to do that. It's just my luck. Okay, notes. I've been using calamine, and it has been amazing. I'm so happy about it. Yeah. It's just another thing, just another thing. And it's weird because I don't normally get poison ivy, but yeah, it was all right here. You can kind of still see it in here. No fun. Okay. Let me get our notes. Christina, can you send the notes again? For some reason, they didn't come through. Are you out there? I think if you just copy and paste them. Oh, wait. There they are. I found them. I just had to scroll up. Okay. All right. So let's get started, shall we? Last week was a little bit of a disaster trying to do the coffee chat at Brimfield. I do apologize if you guys were trying to get some information out of me. I thought it would work out. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna give this our best effort to try to. Now I know for the future, if I'm ever traveling, I need to be someplace where I have my computer so that I can switch us over to subscribers only. It's all good. All right. So let's talk a little bit about our numbers. So we have 243 new members. It seems like now that we're in the summer, things have slowed down a bit, but that makes sense. That happens usually in the summer. I did my best. I did do my best. That's just like a typical summer thing. So I'm not too concerned about 243 members, but I'd like to welcome all 243 of our new members. Welcome to Niknax. You're one of them. Yay! Welcome, new members. So welcome to our new members. We do have our chat channels over on the side that I would invite you to explore. Get to know the community. One thing here at Niknax that we're really big on is the community. I feel like that kind of sets us apart from some of the other platforms. We're really big on community and getting to know each other, I think that makes a huge difference with a lot of our buying and selling is getting to know each other, getting to know our sellers, getting to know our buyers, and forming those relationships. So if you are a new member, go check out some of the chat channels, introduce yourself in the community chat. Be like, hey, I'm so and so, I'm new here. This is what I collect, and get to know some of the folks here on Niknax. As far as sellers go, we have 4,890 sellers. I added 9 more sellers. I did that, I think maybe last night. I added some new sellers. We've got over 1,100 applications currently. I've kind of slowed down a little bit on new sellers because our new members are kind of slowing down. So I've always talked to you guys a little bit about our buyer-seller ratio. And so I'm very serious about that, obviously, because I've slowed down a little bit on adding sellers now that, we've seen that ratio disrupted a little bit by summer. That will increase, obviously, but we're just going to keep an eye on that. And it is important. Yeah, we don't want more sellers than we have buyers because then our sellers aren't doing well. So if you are a seller and you're waiting to get into Niknax, it's worth the wait. It's absolutely worth the wait because by the time you get in, we want to make sure that, that when you're here, you will have the opportunity to make sales when you do get in. So yes, we have over 1,100 applications sitting out there currently. And I do approve all of them or deny all of them myself. If you do get a denial, please remember that I'm probably asking for additional information. So if you get denied, please provide that additional information and I will review it a second time and hopefully we'll just put you right through. So if you are looking to be a seller on Niknax, it's very important that you read the application and you give me the information I need. So very important. Yes. Yep. That summer slowdown. Last year, we got really lucky. We didn't actually feel the summer slowdown too much. This year is a little bit different. This year's a little bit different. We're feeling it a little bit, but that's okay. Just, cross your fingers and look forward to that, those holidays, because that's when things really pick up. That's when it gets exciting. So, all right. So we have over 111,000 listings. So if you're new here, make sure you go and check out some of our listings. We have a ton of buy it now listings. You can use the search bar at the top. Hey, Sunny, I hope you're feeling better. I saw your post on Instagram. Anyway, I go search the search bar. You can put what you're looking for up there and you can search the buy it now listings, because in addition to live selling, we also have buy it now listings and we have multi-day auctions, which have been picking up. So a lot of our sellers have been utilizing those multi-day auctions, which you can find on the homepage. Wonderful. That makes me very happy. So make sure that you are doing some searching, because I've found some really fantastic stuff. And speaking of, if you find the little store icon somewhere here on your screen and you click on that, you will see that we do have a bunch of stuff there available for sale from members of the community here. So I would encourage you to go and check in the store and see what you can find, because I added some stuff before I started today. So there's some cool stuff to do, a little shopping. All right, let's see. So Christina did roll over some of our, is there coffee available? Yes, I can add the coffee. Give me one sec. Let's see. All right. Yes, let me add some coffee because we do still have coffee. I always forget to, which is silly because it's coffee chat. And part of the reason I started this was because I was like, oh, this is great. I'll be able to put some of my coffee in there. And then I always forget to add the coffee anyway. So the coffee is in there now. All right. So we did a little rolling over from last week since I was in Broomfield, and we had issues with trolls. Where's my hair band? I lost my hair tie. Turn it. Use this. I'm gonna put my hair up real quick, guys. Give me 1 sec. Yay, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. All right. So, as always, please try to hold your questions till the end. I am easily distracted, and if I see your questions come across the screen, I will probably answer them, which is a good thing, but also it'll take a little bit longer to get through everything. So try to hold them till the end, maybe write them down if you're like me and you won't remember by the end of this. But I will try my best to have some time left over at the end where I can answer your questions. So try to hold them till the end. Okay. Let's see. Happy gummy worm day, guys. Go out and get yourself some gummy worms because today is gummy worm day. Yeah, I'm all for that. I might actually have to just go out down the road and get some gummy worms at the gas station to celebrate. You're looking for spurs. Does anybody here on Niknax have spurs? See, I'm already distracted. Look at that. You just happen to have some audience. All right, so let's talk a little bit about who we are here on Niknax. We'll go over that real quick since we do have new members, and last week was kind of a disaster. I'm Jocelyn, Crazy Lamp Lady. I own Niknax.net. It is one of the newest and fastest growing e-commerce marketplaces out there right now. We're growing pretty fast, even though we're going through this little summer slowdown real quick. I guarantee you that by Christmas, we're going to be right back up in there. So we'd love to have you come over and join us and hang out with us. We have Christina, who is a lot of things. She wrote down what she is here, but she's much more than that. Christina is operations and Niknax events. Yes. She handles a lot of the operations. She was running things last week while I was in Broomfield because that was wild. It was just a crazy week with family and everything. So Christina gets a round of applause for keeping everything rolling last week while I was MIA. I popped in a few times, but yeah. Thank you. Yes, let's celebrate Christina for a moment. All right. So and then of course we have all of our moderators as well. So if you're a moderator in the chat, go ahead and raise your hand. Our moderators also super helpful in keeping this marketplace true to its mission, true to our vision, and what we want for the marketplace, which of course is positive, family friendly, community-based, all of those things. And without our moderators here helping to create that and keep it where we want it to be, I don't think Christine and I could do it ourselves. So extremely helpful. Go on and give them some support. If you see our moderators popping up there in the chat with the little M, make sure you give them a follow, maybe pop into their next sale, and just show your appreciation for them. If you, okay, so we have a few ways to contact us. Yeah, shout out to Jeannie Bird Vintage right there from YouTube. Shout out to Jeannie Bird. There you go. There's a few ways to contact us here on Niknax. First, you guys know we have our email community@niknax.net. That is for basically marketplace issues that are not technical, don't involve payment information, that sort of thing. Basically, like the interworkings, the if a situation can be mediated, stuff like that, we will do our best. Also, if you have like suspicious purchases that you've noticed where somebody's having multiple failed payments, stuff like that, it's always good to report it to community@niknax.net, because if I see a pattern in any behaviors like this, I'm able to reach out to the parties involved and make sure that nothing crazy is going on. It's kind of our community watch in a sense, because if we do have issues where a buyer has a full week of failed payments to multiple sellers, I'm able to step in and be like, whoa, wait a second, what's going on? And then it doesn't go any further than that, whereas if it just continues and nobody reports it, multiple sellers are impacted, and a lot of sellers can't really afford to miss out on those sales when failed payments do happen. Some of us can just be like, oh, well, I'll just sell it in my next sale. But, we have a lot of sellers who sell on Niknax who, if they're selling an item and say it gets 3 bids and the winning bidder doesn't pay, they could have sold it to that under bidder and made money on it. And that sucks because then they're out the payment. So it's really important that when you guys have situations like that, first of all, I would encourage you to reach out to the buyer and say, hey, I noticed you had some failed payments. It is true that sometimes the bank will flag Niknax, just like it does with Whatnot if you're over there. It does flag Niknax as well. So there is certain, times when it could just be an issue with their bank. So, always don't ever accuse them of being like, hey, you're not paying. Always, assume that the bank's like flagging the payments and reach out and be like, hey, they were failed payments, probably an issue with your bank, but can you please get this straightened out? The items will stay in their cart after the sale if they do not get paid for. So they will have the items in their cart. They can pay for them until they get that straightened out, I think for 48 hours. So try to work it out yourselves. If there's no response from the buyer, if things just don't seem right, please reach out to us and let us know so that we can protect the marketplace and make sure that the damage is lessened and we can maybe remove the buyer if it becomes a bigger issue. I do keep an eye on failed payments, but if you guys also are keeping an eye, then it helps a lot because we're getting bigger and bigger. We're getting bigger and bigger. So that is community@niknax.net. I did want to mention that for some reason, we pay for help desk. Obviously, it is an app that I pay for on a monthly basis. For some reason, some of the emails are not getting forwarded to help desk. So what happens is you send an email to the email address, and then the email address forwards those emails into help desk. And then we have one central location where all the emails come through. It creates a ticket, and then we have the tickets there. For some reason, we're missing emails, and I don't know why that's happening. So if you don't get a response from us about something that's like really urgent or really important, you may want to reach out to us and be like, hey, did you see my email? That being said, please be mindful of like holidays or please be mindful of weekends because, on the weekends and the holidays, if it's not super urgent, we might just leave it. Evenings, we might just leave it for, the next business day because Christina and I are the only ones on help desk. That's the other thing. If you are sending an email to the help desk, Christina and I are the only ones seeing those emails. So you don't have to worry that a bunch of people are seeing them. It's just the two of us. Yeah. I don't know. I've tried well, that's the thing is and funny you bring that up, Claudine, is I had set up an auto response. And some of you may have received the auto response. I set up the auto response, and that's when this started happening. That's when we started noticing it. So then I removed the auto response because I'm like, oh, I must have messed something up. So I took out the auto response, and it's still happening. So I don't know what exactly is going on. I might put an auto response back in because it's probably going to happen anyway, but there seems to be a little bit of a glitch there with help desk. So if it's really urgent, if it's something you think is important, maybe reach out to us in DM. I get a lot of DMs. I get a ton of DMs, but I might see it. Hopefully I see it if it's important. So it's probably best that you just send me a message and hope that I get an eye on it. But that is the deal with community@niknax.net. I always answer. I always answer. Christina says, send it to me. Christina's email is Christina@niknax.net. Yeah, I do try. I do try my best. Sometimes it gets buried. Sometimes they get buried. So Christina's email is Christina@niknax.net. You can send her anything event related. So if it's related to an event, if it's related to a train, that needs to go to Christina. Christina@niknax.net. And then, of course, you have support at district.net. Support at District. District is our infrastructure. They handle all of the background technology, the payments, all of that stuff. So if you're having an issue with payments, if you have a return, if you're having a shipping logistics issue, you need to reach out to district support. So that is support at district.net. I talked about this a little last week, but obviously we were getting a bunch of trolls and it was probably very confusing. But I realized I was receiving a lot of feedback that district was not responding. And it appears as though that was via their district marketplace where they had different chat channels. I think that's probably where the issue was. People were commenting on the district chat channel and not receiving a response. My understanding is that they were responding via email or chat, but sometimes those were getting missed. So that's no longer there. There's no longer any chat channels that I know of. I did mention something to them about that the optics of that looking like there was no Oh, Jerson is on it now. Oh, is it there now? Or you're saying through email? But anyway, so if you want to contact, all that being said, if you want to contact district, you must email them. support@district.net. Okay, so now it's all taken care of. Okay, good. Yes, that is perfect. Let me just double check that. So your best bet of reaching them is support@district.net. Okay, yeah, no, I'm looking at the district support marketplace right now, and they no longer have the chat channels for you to comment on. So you need to contact them at their email. That is the best way to contact them. They do have weekend support, and that is, to help us make sure that everything is running smoothly. So support@district.net. Yes, Jerson and Grace, Sienna, Ivan, everybody there it's just a wonderful team at District. They've always been super helpful, super supportive of us and what we're building. Oh, or DM. I didn't know that, Claudine. Or DM, I guess. But there you go. So support at District is different. But you can reach out to them about all your technical issues and stuff like that. And if you send us an email through community and we're like, we can't help with that, we're going to refer you to District. Okay. Okay, this weekend, we have a really big event happening. It is our glass gallery, which we have every quarter. It was originally started by Jenny Kay. I'm not sure if she's out there, but Jenny Kay originally started the glass. Was it the glass locomotive? Is that what it was? I don't know why I'm drawing the blank. I think I'm here with more coffee. But we had a monthly glass train that was started by Jenny Kay. And then eventually we decided, you know what, let's do this every quarter. And so now we're having the glass gallery, and it's happening this weekend. And it's going to be 19th, 20th, and 21st. So it's one of our big Niknax events. It's usually very successful. And I suspect this one will also be very successful. I always tell our sellers, if you are in this train, please be very careful to look over your pieces, make sure there's no chips or cracks. With events like this, we always want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward. We want to make sure that we're presenting ourselves the best way possible, because we're going to have a lot of collectors here on Niknax, and if we can give them the best impression of Niknax possible, they're going to come back. They're going to continue to shop. And so please make sure that, you're bringing your best and you're looking it over and there's no damage and you're representing it correctly. All of those things. So that's very important, especially if you're involved in the glass gallery this weekend. Both the train and also the items on the marketplace, because I will be selecting glass items from around the marketplace to feature. So that means buy it now listings. So if you have glass, I would very much suggest that you be listing it. If you have some nice pieces that you maybe listed a year ago, I would go back, I would duplicate that listing and delete the original. Recreate your listings and get them fresh, freshen them up. Make sure you got good pictures. We're gonna kick it out of the park. We're gonna hit it out of the park this weekend. It's gonna be amazing. So again, that is happening the 19th, 20th, and 21st. Okay. So it's gonna. I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. I've actually already got mine preloaded and scheduled because I'm just that good. No, actually, the girls are that good. They preloaded it for me. The glass gallery, you guys did the work. You preloaded it.
We're still doing.
They're still over there. Yes, as Bandit said, more than one picture. All right, let's go over our listing specifics real quick. More than one picture. You want to do a picture of the bottom, picture of the top. You want to do the size. You want to include a ruler. You want to get all of that. You want to make sure that you include all of that. So dimensions, blank backgrounds, picture of the bottom, picture of the top, and all just, yeah, not just a ruler, not just the ruler, actually include the measurements. All right. All right, let's keep going. If you have emailed Christina and you have not gotten a response, please DM for now. She's having issues logging into her email. So we have to get that resolved. All right, all glass gallery sellers. I can't read her comment. I'll wait till the end. All right, all glass gallery says she will be posting in the glass gallery chat about the weekend check off list. Please make sure your notifications are on. All right, so just make sure your notifications are on because there is a checklist. All right. All right. Okay. There's a little bit here about being a moderator. Let's talk real quick about what it means to be a moderator here on Niknax. So being a moderator is more than just a shield. Moderators must be aware of the marketplace guidelines. So when you're modding somebody, please make sure they have read it. I don't know what that means. I should probably read through this before I What is this in reference to in a live sale when you elect somebody as a moderator? Is this what we're talking about? Or are we talking about our marketplace? Oh, okay. So last week, I think, or the week before, we announced that now in a live sale, you can pick your own moderators. So, you could be like, I could be like Christine. Actually, I don't think I can make Christina a moderator because she's already, yeah. Sorry, Christina, no such luck. Can't add. So if somebody is already a moderator and admin on Niknax, you can't add them as a moderator or admin on your stream. But if you were to click on somebody, you're live and you're like, oh, I need a moderator's help because this is going too fast or it's too crazy. You can click on them. You can add them as a moderator. But when you're picking your moderators, be thinking. I had a situation on Whatnot, right? Where I was like in a panic. I had no moderators in my room. Everybody had been busy. And I don't know if you guys remember back when I first started there, I had like 1,200 to 1,800 people in my room. I'm there live and I am in an absolute panic because I have nobody to moderate. And I'm like, oh guys, I got to pick somebody. And I picked somebody who was not good. Let me just say that. I won't say who it was, but I picked somebody who was not good. And they started messaging people, berating them for saying certain things or doing certain things that were not a big deal. But they were basically like, how could you do that in Jocelyn's sale, blah, blah, blah. And so they were speaking on my behalf, messaging people, DMing them. And I was getting all these messages from like regular buyers because they were a moderator and they had a shield and they were representing me, but they weren't. I just was in a panic and I needed to select somebody. So keep that in mind. Keep that story in mind when you are selecting your moderators for your shows. Be sure that you're picking people that you trust, because when you are in a show and you're picking moderators, those people are essentially representing you. And even if they're not necessarily, people are assuming that they represent you, which is why I was so careful in who I've chosen thus far as moderators and admins here on Niknax. So you always have to be just very careful because they don't don't have a whole lot of power as far as like in your sale. The moderators in your sale can boot, as Christina says, they can boot and they can delete messages. So, when you mod somebody in your sale, they can moderate by booting and deleting messages, which, isn't a whole lot of power, but they also have that. They represent you, and that is a lot of power. So choose carefully. Choose carefully. And I think that's really, what we're saying here. They're answering questions on your behalf. So hopefully they know the answers to your questions. And I would say, that they know the marketplace guidelines as well. Not just for your sake, but for our sake as Niknax, I think it's important that, the people that you're selecting also know the marketplace guidelines, because, even if they're in your sale and you have given them the moderator, it might appear that they're, representing Niknax. So just be cautious. I feel like if there are issues in a sale, besides just, deleting the chat or banning them, I would suggest that you also let us know that there was issues within a sale. I think that would be important. Screenshot. Yes, definitely screenshot. Let us know that there was issues in a sale, because, now that you guys have the power to take charge, it's also important that we know, because if there's one person, going around to all the different sales, creating issues, and everybody's just kind of, handling it on their own, we could just get rid of them on a marketplace level. And I think it's important that we are aware when situations like that arise. Okay. So just so we're all on the same page. And I think that's kind of what Christina had. It was a book, but Christina, is that kind of, did I cover what you wanted me to cover there? Hopefully. It was a lot to read, so I kind of just paraphrased. I hope that, okay, cool. All right. Let's talk a little bit about wholesale. And with that, yes, you can ask for a moderator during your show. Yes, just be careful when you ask for a moderator who volunteers to moderate. That's the one thing you have to be careful of, is who's going to volunteer. And then it's like awkward if you're like, no, not you. No, anybody else? No, anybody else want to volunteer? I mean, that is awkward, right? So what you pointing at? Oh, engagement and cheerleading. Yes, it was. Aside from just being there to overrule the chat and make sure everyone's behaving, it's also beneficial for a moderator to cheerlead and encourage and create conversation in the chat. You know what I mean? Like Christina said, like if it's quiet and it's dead and it's like really boring, like if you come in there and you're a moderator for that chat, you can be like, "Hey guys, what's for dinner?" That's always my favorite one. "Hey guys, what are you having for dinner?" Because then everybody starts talking about food, and it's always, Christina likes that one too. She talks about food a lot. Yay, the micro mosaic. Yay. All right. So let's talk a little bit. So next on the list is wholesale clarification. I have been rewriting the rules, the guidelines here on Niknax, which I started this morning. I'm kind of rethinking our, that's not exactly what I've been doing. I've been thinking about our guidelines as we grow, and how to simplify them, while also making sure that we're staying strong to our mission statement. You know what I mean? So I haven't gotten to wholesale yet. But if you go to our guidelines, you'll see it says updated on, and then I've added some stuff. I'm not going to go over all the guidelines, but you guys can go and look at the guidelines yourself. Please remember that you still need approval for wholesale. I talked about that a little bit. The weather is popular too. Yeah, I mean, those are the easy ones, right? It's like when you're standing in an elevator and it's really awkward, and you're like, "So, what's for dinner? How's the weather?" Anyway, wholesale. Sorry, I'm reading through these notes real quick. Okay. I know, squirrel, right? You still need approval for wholesale. So if you are selling wholesale anything, if you have multiples of anything, you need to get approved for that. I mean, that's always been our rule here. And so you need to come to us and you need to say, hey, so a wholesale in definition is if I go and I buy a big bag of, see, I don't do wholesale. So I'm like looking around like, what do I have that's wholesale? I have nothing that's wholesale because I don't do wholesale. Wholesale would be like I go online and I order, oh, for instance, okay, Amy, Attic on the Beach is here, and she sells her blankets. Yes, and she has approval for selling her blankets. So she orders these beautiful blankets from India and she sells the blankets that are all different colors and designs, but she has approval for selling those blankets. Jenny K sells the little Ukrainian figurines. She gets them in the hundreds. Both of them do. They get them in the hundreds, and they have approval for selling wholesale because they're getting them in massive quantities, and then they are selling them wholesale. So they're buying them wholesale, and then they're selling. So that is in essence what it is. Yes, the wholesale lady. Well, yeah, the shapewear lady too. Yeah, that would be. I mean, I never really. So that's the whole thing about wholesale, right? With clothing, that's kind of like a weird line with clothing, because with clothing, yes, there can be but like with clothing, a lot of it is wholesale. So that's why I'm kind of redefining our guidelines, because with certain categories of selling, there's going to be different. Yes, still no jewelry wholesale. Still no jewelry wholesale. That is kind of what I'm getting down to. And that's, yeah. Still, when in doubt, ask. And in the meantime, I am working to redefine our guidelines and make sure that it's very clear, because I do know that there has been some confusion. So jewelry, the reason that we have this rule is, we really want to keep the quality of knickknacks and snacks. Exactly. That's another one where, people buy it wholesale and then they sell it. So there's certain categories where, there's not going to be any way to really say you can't wholesale, because that's just how you buy and sell it. Yeah, carry times are the best. That is true. I agree with that. But one of our reasons for this rule, and just like down to the very reason that we created this rule, is because when we were kind of working on defining knickknacks, we wanted to make sure that we were represented by quality. We have our quality, and we want to keep our quality up. And a lot of the times when people start wholesaling stuff, they start getting it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and it just cheapens the entire marketplace. And so that was our reasoning for that. So that is why we have that rule. So I think we can continue to have that rule and just define it a little better. One thing that concerns me is jewelry. Absolutely. We were seeing people buying stuff off of Temu, Alibaba, and then trying to sell it. And I've said this before. You can literally hear them taking it out of the bag. All right, next we have... My favorite was when we had that one issue, and you guys know the one I'm talking about, and like they panned and the whole floor was covered in the little baggies. Like every time they came to like show the item, it was like and the whole floor was littered with the little cellophane baggies. And I'm like, okay. So my point is, I just want to make sure that, like, for instance, the glass gallery, I want to make sure that when it comes to knickknacks, that we are represented by quality. That we represent quality items. So I'm going to make sure to work that into our guidelines. And then by next week, I'll probably have something and we'll go over it together. Yeah, I went to Goodwill yesterday and I had like stickers stuck to my shirt, and I'm like shopping and I look down and I had like, I'm like, crap. But I can't tell you how many times I've gone out and I've had stickers like in my hair and stuff. It's just like, it's a fashion statement. Somebody should make like a little brooch that's like a Goodwill Goodwill sticker. I'd wear that. Totally wear that. Anyway, that being said, gemstone jewelry. I mean, that's one that, man, I'm kind of on the fence. I know that you guys like your gemstone jewelry. And so I talked about this a little bit last week. I'm kind of on the, I mean, gemstone jewelry is difficult for me. And I'd love to get your feedback on this. It's difficult for me because it's kind of like on the line of it's gemstones, but it's jewelry, you know? And I know gemstones is difficult because you get a lot of the gemstone stuff is wholesale. So like snacks, you get it wholesale, you know? So the gemstone stuff is difficult for me. That being said, no 925. Yeah, you can't, no fake 925. You know, there's so much of the fake 925 gemstone jewelry out there. And it's usually very heavily plated. So you have to be very careful when you get that gemstone jewelry when it's marked 925. You have to be very careful because a lot of the times, I know you do. I mentioned you in last night's video, by the way, about the clock. I don't know if you caught that. But anyway, so just be very cautious. Obviously, we keep an eye on things, and I will send you a note if something just doesn't seem right. And I've said this before, like my notes to you guys, it's never personal, unless it is, but it's usually not. Like 9.5 times out of 10, it's not personal. It's usually like just that, hey, these are our guidelines. So if you get a message from me about something, it's usually just a reminder to like, hey, can you just recheck the guidelines? So, and that's a reminder to everybody to recheck the guidelines because I have been working on them. So I've kind of been, well, you'll see if you go check them out. There's something in here about chat channels, but Christina doesn't know this. Last night I redid all of our chat channels and I sent them to Sienna, and all of the chat channels are changing within the next few days. So surprise, everybody. We're getting new chat channels. We talked about this a few weeks ago. How there's just too many and it's too confusing. And so I'm condensing them. We're keeping the ones. So I went through and I looked at the ones that have the most activity or activity within the past few weeks. You know, the ones that we rarely ever use, there's no point in keeping them. If we like chat in them once every 3 months, like why do we even have them? They're just clogging things up. So I'm keeping the channels that are most important. Actually, you know what? I can pull it up and just show you guys that real quick. What time is it? Let's see. Google Docs. Chat channels. Okay. Just trying to think what time it is, what I need to do today. All right, let's see. Turn you guys around. Okay. Oop, we're not turned around yet. Here we go. Okay. So here are the chat channels. Just kind of reorganized, tried to make them a little bit more, a little easier. So welcome to Niknax. And then here's just like the permissions. So you guys are probably like, what's that? And then what chat channel what the previous chat channel is. So welcome to Niknax. Then we have our marketplace guidelines, live sale onboarding, calendar of events is going to move under get started. It just makes sense. You go in, there's your calendar of events right under get started. Members, we have community chat just listed for sale. We're keeping that one. Live sale previews, which I don't think we had previously. We didn't have that previously, but we have in search of, and then support our Canadian sellers under members. And then sellers updates and announcements, seller chat, jewelry chat, handmade chat, Canadian chat, and ID me. And so I had to pick one previous channel to move over into ID me. And since we had like a zillion, I chose glass since we have the glass gallery coming up. So I could only associate one channel over. So that's the one I chose. And then of course we have live sellers, live seller chat, generic thumbnails, which a lot of people use, Android seller chat, seller event chat, which is going to be the train chat. Okay. Because a lot of people are like, what's a train? Like, people don't know. So I felt like seller event, calling it an event was probably our best route. Seller event thumbnails. So if you were to host an event, you could put your thumbnail in the event thumbnails. So that'll be all your thumbnails. That way, if somebody's in your event and they don't have to scroll through all of the seller event chat to find the thumbnail, you could just put all of your event thumbnails right there in the seller events. All right. So this will be Niknax Event Central. This will be the train chat. We have Niknax announcements. This will be the Niknax Train Gazette. Niknax signups. This will be where we post our signups. So if you're going to sign up for an event, this will be where the link goes. This will be when it's going to post. We'll put in here. So you will all want to be, if you're wanting to be in an event, you're going to want to be subscribed to this so you get notifications. And then when the time comes, this is where it'll post in the signups. This will be where all the Niknax thumbnails are. So if you're in Glass Gallery, you need the thumbnail, you go to Train Thumbnails. This is the Niknax event chat. So this is all related to only Niknax events. So, it'll be the Paperweight Extravaganza chat this time because that's the most recent one. Fast Friday Freight is a Niknax event. Newbie Train, Niknax event, Meet Your Maker. All right. And then there's a few extras. We have our logos, graphics, for social media, suggestions, and tools of the trade. All right. And then we're going to archive all the others. Unless you guys know of any other channels that you're like, oh, this one's really important to me. Can we save it? All right. But that's kind of how I envision it. So it's a lot more concise. And so here's how it will work, though, is if you're a member and not a seller, you won't see you will only see get started and members. If you're a seller and not a live seller, you won't see any of these. So depending on what level you are is what you see. So, sellers who aren't live sellers don't see this. So it just depends on where you're at in the market. And that same goes now. I mean, when I look at chat channels, you guys have seen when I've showed you chat channels. For me, it's like, because I see every chat channel, I see every archives channel, I see every channel, and it's insane. So that's kind of where I was like, this is too much. So the engineers are the reason I haven't done it sooner is the engineers are the ones who have to update this. I don't have the power to do it. So that's why I've put it off, because even Sienna isn't able to do it. She has to go to the engineers. So it's a lot more complicated than you would think. So I just really had to get it all exactly where it needs to be, because they have to put their time into doing this for us. So if you think of anything else that you want to save that we shouldn't archive, let me know. Okay. Hey, Macy. Hey. So there's that. Okay. So, just wanted to share that with you guys. Also, I'm hoping to update our application as well. That was the other thing I've been working on. So we have chat channels, we have application, and then we have the guidelines, which I'm working on. Let's see. Reporting violations, failed payments. We talked a little bit about that. Onboarding. If you would like to go live, you have to go to the chat channels and go to live sale onboarding to get the option to go live. So then you just go into Sienna's calendar and schedule your live sale onboarding. All right. And she does that twice a week. Let's see. Also, if you're going to go live, you have to read the guidelines, guys. Come on, read the guidelines. Our guidelines are very different from other marketplaces. Very different from other marketplaces. I mean, I say that, but also some other marketplaces have used our guidelines for their own. They've taken our guidelines and then made them their own. But our guidelines we have more guidelines than other marketplaces. So it's really important that you read through our guidelines, because there's a reason we have them, and they're very important. They're very important. All right. Shout out to Christy's Corner. After seeing you mention on how awesome her buy it now item was during her live show, she immediately brought the item to stage and showed it. That's a great strategy. That is a great strategy. I like that. So if somebody mentions your, buy it now item and you just happen to have it, pull it to stage and be like, oh, this item, that's a great strategy for making a sale. All right, we have coming up no Fast Friday freight this week because we have Glass Gallery, 19th, 20th, and 21st. We also have Meet Your Maker on July 25th. So the theme is Artist's Choice. So kickoff is 11:50 a.m. So Meet Your Maker is an event with our in conjunction with our handmade market, and it is every fourth Friday of the month. We change the entire homepage over to all handmade. So we will be celebrating our handmade artists on the fourth Friday. We have handmade all year round, but that is the one day where we change everything over. So if you come to Niknax on fourth Friday, it will be all handmade. So you will be able to shop the handmade market. Let's see. Kickoff is 11:50. August Meet Your Maker is also scheduled and full. The theme is small scale studio. So, all right, so there you go. July and August are full for Meet Your Maker. So stay tuned. So you guys make sure you're subscribed to the Gazette so that you know when these signups are going to be posted. And then, I would even subscribe to the signups. So that way, when the signups are posted, if you're like, oh, that's an event I want to be in, you get notified whenever that goes up. All right, let's see. All right. So also there was something. Oh, okay. So we might need it. This is the last thing. The train chat channel. Listen, there's too many channels. We gotta fix this. Give me 1 second, Elsie. Let me say one more thing. What was I? Oh, okay. So one thing you may notice, it's going to change next week. So I'll touch on it a little bit more next week. But there is going to be a change coming to the chat. If you guys notice on other platforms where there's live sales, the bids don't show up in the chat. And so starting sometime possibly next week or the following week, we will no longer have the bids showing up in our chat. So there was a step process to this, and one of the steps was putting in those bumpers, like on when you're bowling, the bumpers, so you're not betting against yourself. That was step one. So as a reminder, if you'd like to turn that on, there is an option to turn it on so you don't bid against yourself. I'm not sure exactly where the option is because it's called guided bidding. And I'm not sure where exactly it is, but if you're somebody who occasionally bids against yourself, so the reason for that is because you guys know how fast it goes. Like if you ask something, I think it'll be below. I think it's going to move, but the reason for that is because like if you're talking to somebody and in the chat and then you like show an item and then it's like, and it just bumps up the chat and you can't read the chat. So that's part of the reason why that's going to be happening, so that you can actually engage with your chat and not, get inundated with the numbers. And it's something they do on all the other. You can still see the bid. Like you'll still see when the bids come in. Yeah, you'll still see when the bids come in. You'll see when you're winning, but it won't be in the chat. So it won't be happening in the chat, is what I'm saying. Like it won't be happening. Like if I was to run an item right now and I'm talking to you guys and I'm asking a question and you're answering me, and then I run the item and it's like 5, 8, 10, and like suddenly I can't read anything what you guys are responding because it's all taking up the chat. It's not going to be like that anymore. So that'll probably be happening maybe next week. So I just want you guys to be aware if it happens before coffee chat, which I don't think it will. I think it'll happen after coffee chat, but we can talk about it more when it happens. I just wanted you guys to be aware just in case it happens. You're not like, whoa, what is this? But that being said, if you are in the habit of bidding against yourself, I would suggest that you turn on that guided bidding. So that way, if you are ahead and you're just like pounding away at that button, it will tell you like, hey, you're already ahead. And I know some of you already have it turned on. And even if you're not somebody, I don't see why you wouldn't want it on. So anyway, all right, Elsie, what was your question about the new guided auction mode? That's the one. Yep, guided auction mode. That'll prevent you from bidding against yourself. One of the reasons that people sometimes do that is when it's sudden death and you get down to the last minute, you just want to keep bidding because when it's done, it's done. So if you get that notification that says you're bidding against yourself and it's sudden death and that pops up and you have to X out of that, you could lose. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the advantage and disadvantage to having that on. I don't think Christina and I talked about that. So let me chat with Christina about that first, Elsie, and then we'll circle back to that, because that we got to figure that out, because I know a lot of people are used to going live. I think the reason that we wanted that is because we want people to know the guidelines and know how to do it first. So let me circle back and I'll DM you. However, sends the offer to the people. I know it does that. And I've brought that up before. I forget what they said the last time I brought that up, because I did mention that. Let me write it down again. Okay, I wrote it on Post-it. Good thing I bought those notebooks, right? Are we in question mode? I don't know. You're definitely not yellow. Oh yeah, we're in. Like right now, we're in the question zone of this coffee chat. Yeah, and I can answer questions for about 4 more minutes, and then I'm gonna hop off of here real quick because I have my meeting at 12:30. And I'm sorry again, guys, for being late. I had somebody stop by the house, and I was like, oh, all right, I gotta go soon. Can we? Yes, you can. You can do that new again. We actually, we've done that. Kathy did that. Kathy actually did that. Can we sell mid-level handbags with approval? Yes. Oh, Gretchen, I did not know that. Can you reach out to support@district.net? And I'm going to write that down. Okay. I don't know. That's a good question. I know that for a while there, Whatnot allowed that, and then they didn't do it anymore. So I don't know if there's a reason for that. But I will. Do they have that? I don't know. I'm out of the loop. Sorry, I'll read the question before I answer it. Sorry, I click my pen when I'm distracted. Oh, it was a space memory issue. Yeah, it cost a lot of money to store that stuff. Any new feature? Not that I know of. I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not sure who I was replying to. Oh, somebody said about it being a space memory issue on Whatnot. Any new features for Android? Not that I know of. As soon as I know, you will know. So the notify buyers button that you see, it could probably be moved farther away from duplicate, but it just, all it does is if somebody has pre-bid on your item, it lets them know that, hey, I'm running this. What is, oh, it's that. That was the dog. I was like, what's wrong with him?
I'm like cleaning the inside and it's making
The squeaky noise. He's like, what's that?
It's just amazing.
Oh, I know. It's driving me nuts, Sandy. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's driving me nuts. Don't worry, guys. I'm on it. I got you. All right. I'll give you 2 more minutes. Did you say you would read? How will I know if my application was looked at? Okay, so you won't know if I've looked at it, but you will know if it's accepted or denied. Sometimes it will go into your spam. So the time in which it is accepted or denied depends on how much information you provided in your application. So you know what? Send me a message and I will take a peek at your application. I'm even going to write it down. So what goes into approving or denying an application is what information is included. I've had so many applications recently that just say, what would you like to sell? Collectibles. And that's all I get. And that to me is kind of useless. Cattle. That's the best one ever. Cattle. So if somebody says they just want to sell collectibles, I have no idea whether if they've sold before. I have no idea if they sell on any other platforms. I have no idea what they mean by collectibles. I have no context other than collectibles. I'm probably just going to leave them hanging for a hot minute because I'm more likely to approve applications than to deny applications. And if somebody just puts collectibles, I'm going to deny them. And it could take me 2 weeks, it could take me a month, it could take me 6 months to deny them. And then after I deny them, they're going to have to reapply with more information. So if you're going to apply to Niknax, your best bet is to include as much information as possible. You want to include, I sell currently on eBay. Here is a link to my eBay. Then I can go over and I could be like, oh, look at this. They've got a 5-star rating for shipping. They've got amazing pictures. They get really good descriptions. Then I know oh, this is going to be a great candidate for Niknax. They're going to do well, or, oh, this person is over on Whatnot. They're a live seller. They go live once a day. They sell, well, it's kind of hard now because we don't have you can't see back. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So it's just the more information provided in your application, the quicker you go through. And then another thing I will say is, depending on what's selling on Niknax, I look at applications also based on what people are selling. So, if clothing is on the rise in Niknax, I'm looking at clothing sellers. If jewelry is saturated right now, I'm probably going to be less likely to approve jewelry sellers because we have a lot of jewelry selling and, it's doing really well, but I'm not going to go on and approve 50 more jewelry sellers when jewelry is doing really well. We have a ton of jewelry sellers and there's 10 jewelry lives at any given time. I might slowly trickle them in. So it's just a matter of numbers and looking at all the analytics and then going from there. But yes, send me a message. Like I said earlier, sometimes I do miss messages. I get a lot of them, but I will try to go through and look again and see. So send me another one to bump it back up and I'll take a peek. So that's kind of what goes in. There's a lot that goes into approving and denying applications. If you get denied, I always tell you, please read the email because I am asking for more information. There's only been a handful that I've outright denied. We had one that was a scammer over on Whatnot that tried getting in here 5 times. She was a hot mess. So I had to deny her multiple times until she was finally just off district, I believe. She was a disaster. That was somebody I denied. So there's certain people I have denied, but it's been just a handful. It hasn't, and it's been because it's like, I mean, that was like a legal situation. It wasn't just like, oh, people don't like her. They think she's, it was like down to she'd been arrested and all that. So, so it really takes a lot for me to deny somebody. But anyway, I'm going to hop off of here. I've got another meeting in about 10 minutes. Oh, Andrew, he has a doctor's appointment today to follow up, and hopefully they schedule surgery here soon. Because he has doctor's appointments pretty much every day at this point. It's like an everyday thing. So today he gets a follow up to find out when his surgery is. So, all right. Well, on that note, I'm gonna pop off of here, and I do have a sale at 2:30 today. I'm selling all the jewelry I got in Brimfield. I'm really excited. It's, I don't know, it's a sensitive surgery. He probably doesn't want me talking about it. But anyway, so I will have a sale at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be selling all my jewelry. I've got a bunch of it over here. I'll show you. Oh, I'll just give you guys a peek. This is like one of my favorite pieces. Look at this. How cool is it? I mean, I would wear this, but I can't because it's going to kill my wrist. But like, this is so freaking cool, right? And then this is a les something. A les something. I don't know. I looked it up. It was pretty fancy. I wish I would have known because there was more there too. And I'm like, oh, the dragonfly is cute. Anyway, and then I have a ton of micro mosaics. Les Bernard. That's the one. Thank you guys. So yeah, I'm learning. But then I have micro mosaic pendants and all sorts of, I'm so excited for today. And we're going to be doing the jewelry jars as well, which I have. Oh. So we'll do the first jewelry jar, then we'll sell the stuff that's preloaded, and then we'll do the second jewelry jar. So that's at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, and I hope to see you guys there. All right. All right. Trust me, we will have feedback soon. And I'm hoping that when we do have feedback, they are taking my input into consideration, because one of the things I really, really want for feedback is quality, so that our sellers will be rated on quality. So keep that in mind, because I think that's really important. And I don't know of any other platform that has sellers who are rated on quality, but that's what we're all about. So I would be really thrilled if we have that question. All right, one more question. Why don't we have reviews? Do you frown on sending messages after a live to buyer if they are asking for an item in a live and seller does not have any? Ooh, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a little tacky. Probably not. I mean, what I would do is I would reach out to the seller who didn't have any and say, hey, I've got some of those items so-and-so is asking for. Would you mind if I reached out to them? I mean, that I would be okay with, but reaching out to the buyer around the seller is kind of, that I wouldn't do. All right, guys, that's fair, right? That's fair, and then you're working together. So, all right, I've got a meeting at 8. I have all your notes. I wrote them down. And maybe I'll see you at 2:30. So long. Have a wonderful day. All right, let's see who we can raid today. Oh, we have 2 people live. We have Oklahoma. We haven't raided Drunk Susie in a while. She's doing upcycled stuff. So, and Oklahoma Country Girls doing buttons. We love buttons. Oh, I love buttons. You guys know I have like my jars of buttons over here. So we've got 2 sellers live, but we're going to head over to Drunk Susie. Everyone have a wonderful day, and I will see you later.